Hi guys, welcome. Welcome aboard, welcome back, welcome home. As always, completely and totally dependent on where you happen to be in relation to this week, these messages, this energy, this channel, this everything really. This is the week of the 28th of November through the 4th of December 2022, and as always, let's get right in. Monday the 28th, we start with an Aquarius moon. Early in the morning, that moon sextiles the sun, which is in Sagittarius. Then we have Mars trining Saturn. Wow, okay, hello, friend. Right, Mars trining Saturn. Then the moon sextiles Chiron and Venus, and squares Uranus. And then Venus, which is in Sagittarius, quincunxes Uranus. And by the end of the day, the moon sextiles Mercury. So this is a day of like getting shit done, but here's the deal. It's on your terms. So you really want to do and you really want to create. The question is, can you allow yourself to be in the process instead of feeling separate from it, right? Can you shift your perspective to that I get to do this instead of I've got to do this, right? A big deal. So if you will, if you witness yourself kind of as bound to or by deadlines, you're going to be compelled to rebel against it, right? And your progress will grind to a halt, not to mention your joy. So witness the process, right? Witness yourself as the process, as the becoming, right? No matter what you're doing, it can be art, right? Consider that whole concept of the art is already inside the marble. I'm just releasing it, right? That's just a perspective, right? Yeah, you never know. You never know, right? Because getting shit done absolutely is an art, trust me. Tuesday, the 29th, the moon's still in Aquarius, trines Mars. Very, very early in terms of central time, right? And then very shortly after that, conjuncts Saturn. Mercury opposes Mars. Right, this is a lot of getting shit done. And then the moon moves into Pisces in the evening, and Mercury in Sagittarius sextiles Saturn. Again, we're still talking about how we do what we do and why. So in the morning, pay attention if you have a busy dream time, right? Note any upgrades to your 3D processes, right? Your 3D processes. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, Crystal, I think that one's for you. You may feel blurty, reactionary in terms of your mouth or your expressions, so kind of mind your mouth today. And don't flip the bird, right? Just don't. It might feel a little discordant and harsh through about dinner time. And then you might feel very emotional after the moon moves into Pisces. Here's the deal. You can lean into that or not. And the key here is to focus on finding an outlet, not an escape, especially with that moon in Pisces, right? We definitely want an outlet for our emotions and not to be in avoidance. And it might become much, much easier to speak the truth before the end of that day. Wow, these are some serious cards, y'all. On Wednesday, the 30th, the moon in Pisces squares the sun, right? Our last quarter, or our first quarter, I'm so sorry. And then in the evening, wow, look at all these sixes. All right, so in the evening, the moon sextiles Uranus, and right before the day ends, Venus opposes Mars. So here's the deal. That first quarter, it's a check-in, right? So clarity on your intentions. Venus opposing Mars, right? So balancing the experience of home and your desire, right? What are you doing Mars energy, right? Mars is retrograde, so this is about internally aligning to the circumstances that you need to conjure in order to manifest that home, that ideal, that deep feeling state that you define as home. Right, don't talk in circles. It is not going to do any good. Very, very intentionally allow that you will be compliant and a component of your shift, right? You have to be compliant with what comes in, right? Shifting out of resistance and into welcome, into surrender to. This is a very important component of manifestation, right? We welcome what comes. On Thursday, I mean, we got a lot of things happening. The moon, I saw you first, friend. The moon squares Mars, Venus, and Mercury, all before coffee, right? And then conjuncts Neptune. All very exciting, right? And then in the afternoon, she will sextile Pluto. Mercury will square Neptune. The moon again conjuncts Jupiter. Venus sextiles Saturn. And then at the end of this day, the moon blazes her way into Aries. So this is the day with a T-square, right? Mars is opposing. See, she wanted to come out anyway. Mars is opposing Venus and Mercury and squaring the moon, Neptune, and Jupiter. So here's the deal. This is a challenging kind of day. That's not a bad thing. It's just a challenge. So we're asked to stop and explore whether we're on that right path, that true path, right? And perhaps noting places where we've been feeling resistance and exploring whether or not that is actually an illumination, an opportunity to notice that what we are pursuing is not our most fully aligned path. So utilize the day to kind of examine, your inner veils, right? Mars is a big part of this, and Mars is retrograde. So this is always an internal exploration, right? So examining, wow, hello, those veils that are within you. Utilize the day to kind of notice where you are in clarity and where you might not be in clarity. Neptune is going to go direct in just a couple of days after this. So you have increased clarity right now. So don't waste the opportunity to crystallize, right? The nature of home and your true alignment. Really finding that path, really finding that trajectory. And remember, it is not how the path looks, but how the path feels. That is your true invitation. So use the friction as an indicator, right, to illuminate and notice any misalignments. On Friday the 2nd, we have an Aries moon, right, trining the sun and conjuncting Chiron. So this is a day to kind of pay attention to your conscious and unconscious balances. Right. Paying attention to that soul spelunking that you did on Thursday, right? Really, really coming deeply into that process on Thursday. And then on Friday, kind of coming up for air, doing a little reassessment. Chiron's involvement is going to invite you to recalibrate your motion and your movement toward your healing, toward your highest and your best. Minding, of course, the way that you're telling that story about yourself, right? Trining the sun, conjunct Chiron, right? Your identity, your primary sense of identity as your most healed self, right? On Saturday, the 3rd. So the moon is in Aries. sextiling Mars and Saturn, trining Venus, and then Neptune moves direct in the evening, 6:15 Central Time, and then the moon trines Mercury and squares Pluto. So the deal is, on Saturday the 3rd, move as love, right? Consciously choose to constantly rise above fear, actively pursuing joy, and here's the deal, do something that creates it, and that creates that joy for those who feel like home to you, right? And if you notice any sense of fogginess of purpose, do something to express that joy. Move as your soul, right? Feeling into your actions as that visible evidence. Leave your mark as bliss, both on the world and on all of the hearts in your life that feel like home, including your own, right? Including your own. Moving as love. Neptune direct is going to really create that better felt than spoken sense again within us. I just can't call Neptune a male energy planet. I just can't do it. It doesn't feel that way to me. Anyway, it's that better felt than spoken sense, and we're going to be moving back into that energy, right? There's going to be that kind of what's the word? More fluid sense, more felt sense, right? Just better felt than spoken, and that's okay, right? Just commit yourself to being in that energy. And then on Sunday, the 4th of December, Venus squares Pluto, right after the moon squares Pluto, Venus squares Pluto, and then the sun trines Chiron. And then later on in the afternoon, the moon slides her way into Taurus. So on Sunday, wake up slowly if you can. And if you can't, take a moment to really kind of come back and choose a measured re-entry. Right? Assess. It's a very sensual kind of day, so use all of your senses to explore and experience the day, right? Feel your own sense of home, and don't shift your experience or allow anyone outside of yourself to influence that experience, right? Create it and then allow yourself to enjoy it. Let's have some conversation. So on Monday, we've got the Queen of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles, right? This is lovely. Of course, the Queen of Cups, the embodiment of your own emotional stability and fulfillment, the embodiment of those things that bring you satisfaction and contentment. And the Seven of Pentacles, always being willing to be patient and trust divine timing, waiting for those things which you have planted and know are coming, right? So this is the day that we talked about, can you allow yourself to be in the process instead of feeling separate from it, right? Even when you're waiting, you're still in anticipation because you understand that you already know what you've called in, right? Just witness yourself as part of the process. You're not waiting for anything. You're simply in allowance of that fruition, right? Of that blossoming, of that growth. And every moment you're perfect. It's okay. You're not really waiting for anything. You're just in allowance, in surrender to, right? Which is what the Queen of Cups is all about. I'm surrendering to my fulfillment, moment by moment by moment by moment. And then you're really never unfulfilled, are you? Yeah. On Tuesday, we talked about this as a day for busy dream time, right? Watching any upgrades to your process, and minding your mouth, right? So we have the Three of Cups, which is celebration, shared emotional bliss, right? And then the Seven of Swords is about deception, right? It's about betrayal. It's about not being in full disclosure. And it can be full disclosure to yourself. It can also be others, right? We talked about this as not being blurty, minding your mouth, right? Mind your mouth and say what's on your mind, but say it in such a way that it is not easily misconstrued or misinterpreted, right? And then we talked about how when the moon moves into Pisces, we move into that emotional state, right? And we're looking for outlets, not escapes. Speak your truth, but understand where you are fulfilled and where you're not fulfilled by that process. And just make sure that it's the truth, right? Wednesday, we've got the Six of Wands, we've got the Two of Swords, right? This is victory, and this is the Two of Swords is about making choices. It's about making choices with balanced emotion and logic. So we talked about this as really balancing that experience, right? We have Venus opposing Mars, right? Venus opposing Mars. Well, here's the deal. We're going to align, right? And then we're going to tell the story about what we need to continue our manifestation in the deepest sense of it, right? Six of Wands is fire, right? This is victory. This is your passion. This is your inspiration really coming in to that felt sense of here it is, right? I can see it. I can touch it. I can smell it. I can taste it. So as Venus opposes Mars, we are asked to balance those internal and external states of manifestation and how they relate to home. Not talking in circles, right? Not talking in circles, and allowing yourself to become a component of your shift, right? Love and logic, guess what? Love and logic really have no place if you don't have passion. I mean, just what kind of life are you living, right? If you're bound to duty, that's one thing, but if your heart's not in it, even that falls by the wayside and you're unfulfilled. And we know already that this week is about fulfillment, so stay in it, right? Be a component of your shift. On Thursday, we have got the Ten of Wands and the Empress. Come on, this is a beautiful pair. We talked about this as a challenge day. Stopping, exploring whether you're really on the right path. Are you? Is she on the right path? Guess what? She's not. She's got way too much to carry to get where she needs to go. And so that Ten of Wands energy is about really witnessing what you've picked up that you no longer need, or all of those things that you've said yes to that are really not in true alignment with where you want to go. And so really choosing that aligned path and understanding that what you choose is going to come to you, right? The Empress is that energy that says everything you plant is coming, right? Everything that you plant is coming. I always equate these two, one as being kind of 3D and one as being kind of that highest and best, right? And so remember that the path is not how the path looks. It's how it feels, right? And everything this week is reminding us, come back to how it feels. It is never about what it looks like. And if you find yourself on the wrong path, it's your responsibility to shift, to move, to get on a different path, even if that is hard, even if it requires that you put down things that you don't want to put down. But here's the deal. All this shit that you're carrying is preventing you from reaching the future that you want. Your heart's desired future is the only thing that can draw you forward, that is not going to bog you down. So dare, right? Dare to use the friction to invite you forward in that best way. Now listen. On Friday, we talked about conscious and unconscious balance, right? Of that yesterday's soul spelunking. Look, we have a divine pair here. So pay attention, right? Especially as we have that Venus-Mars opposition. We're talking about conscious and unconscious balancing today. We're talking about coming up for air and reassessing, right? Recalibrating our motion and movement toward our highest and best, which, hello, the Chariot is literally balancing love and logic, conscious and unconscious, head and heart. How do you do that? Well, the Emperor does it effortlessly. You know why? Because he knows not just where he's going, but what he has, how it feels when he gets there, and what is inviting him forward. He understands that he's fully resourced and that there is nothing that's going to stand in his way of his progress, right? So balance it all out. Make sure that your assessments are wide enough to keep you moving, right? The Chariot is all about balanced forward motion and not veering off one way or the other. So just pay attention. On Saturday, listen, this is lovely. So we have the Six of Cups, which is that unconditional love, right? This is that love that, love like you've never been hurt, right? This is that beautiful, heartfelt, let me just be in this moment without fear, fully vulnerable, because I don't even understand that I don't even know vulnerable as a concept, right? I simply know open-heartedness. I simply know that full anahata process. And then we have Justice, which is that balancing, right? So this is consciously choosing to rise above and out of fear today and pursuing something that creates it, right? That joy. Feeling into your intentions as visible evidence that you understand your balanced alignment, right? Leaving your mark as bliss on the world. And we talked about very specifically both as your heart and all of the hearts that feel like home. So this is balance and harmony between all of those things, right? This is acting fearlessly, loving fearlessly, consciously choosing to be above it, above that fear, right? You receive exactly what you give. So if you can love fearlessly, you will be loved fearlessly in return, right? That's just how it works. I also love this. We got the Six of Swords and the Four of Swords. Six of Swords is about transitioning from periods of emotional turbulence to emotional stability, right? This is a water card, even though we're in the air element here. And so this is, how do I move from emotional instability towards something that is more fulfilling, more satisfying? And the way that we do that is to shift our beliefs, right? Swords are about beliefs, ideas, thoughts, communication, right? It might be a different way to ask for what you need. It might be a willingness to open your mouth and talk about something that is important to you, that emotionally brings you stability or joy. It might be talking about something that bothers you. Here's the deal. We've got the Four of Swords coming in to clarify. And the Four of Swords is a card about really reassessing after you've had a painful loss. So this is about regrouping. It's about going inside yourself and finding that new belief, that new way to be, which allows for that shift, right? So we talked about this as being a day to wake up slowly and really assessing as a sensual day. Now here's the deal. Feel your own sense of home. And don't allow anyone outside of your experience, right, to shift it or influence it. You are in creation, right? You get to enjoy it. And so the less you put your emphasis or attention on someone else's ideas or their version of whatever it is that you're looking for in terms of satisfaction and bliss and joy, the more you get your own ideas as the driver. And here's the deal. These three swords, that loss, heartbreak, and betrayal, is always representative of how our expectations hurt us, right? And how that new idea comes in and allows you to move away into something newer, better, more, right? Here's the deal. This all ends. Yeah, you bet it does. What are you waiting for, right? What are you waiting for? Stop waiting. Do not. We have got, this is a very devilish card. This puts me in mind of the devil card in the tarot. So let's see what Ciro Marchetti's oracle has to say here about this particular card that looks very, very devilish. Let's find out. Let's find out how it works here. Yeah, temptation, resisting, and willpower. Well, exactly. There is a charm about the forbidden that makes it unspeakably desirable. Mark Twain, yeah. What is it about that ingredient called forbidden that whets the appetite? From innocent indulgence of one more piece of chocolate to more significant forbidden fruits of social behavior, we are often tempted. We indulge even at a risk to our health, our relationship to others, and our general well-being. Our ability to see through the illusion, to weigh the consequence, and resist temptation is a measure of our personal willpower, character, and strength. To succumb or to resist a choice will be a choice that defines us. Let me read that sentence again, please. To succumb or to resist will be a choice that defines us. There we go. A horned jester pulls apart the curtains, revealing an apple and a serpent, symbols from temptation and original sin. A Salome-styled performance manifests as a vision from a flaming cauldron. As we come to understand our weaknesses and the reasons for them, they lose power to control us. The devil simply becomes a man in a silly hat. I mean, here's the deal. We've got Neptune going direct, so we're talking all about those illusions, right? We're talking about how your beliefs create resistance, dissatisfaction, and how your true invitation is always to be in your heart, to be in your experience, right? To create through your unconscious and conscious balancing, and not allowing any outside influence, right? But always coming back to that place where you know what it feels like, right? Yeah, beautiful. That's why we're here, guys. Life is lessons. This is your playground, so utilize it as such. Happy Neptune direct. This is going to be amazing, by the way. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, I like that energy. Anyway, have great weeks, and as always, welcome to December, and be blessed.